Lighting welcomes you to our store at 123 Western Main Road, St. James. Trinity Lighting carries a wide range of bulbs such as incandescent, halogen, CFL, and LEDs for any application. We are specialized in light bulbs and parts for medical, marine, residential, and commercial use. Contact us today at 868-628-8373. Our professional team is ready to assist you with all your lighting needs.
So, how are you enjoying your dinner, Booby Looby?
Well, it's really well seasoned and partially spicy.
Well, I make it my priority to exfoliate my meat before divulging in the steamy essence of love. Yeah, you know what I mean? Rock back.
Did he just put Alcalado in here? Are we still speaking about the food?
Of course, Booby Looby. Look, let me emancipate the AC to cool things down.
Oh my, that's cool.
Yeah, that's Neil cool, baby. Now who could be possibly summoning my time at this present moment? Don't move a muscle. I'll be back.
Oh, Neva! Everything good off. Gani I saw. Wow! Neva! I see you walking with Hula,
Neil cool.
Hula, I can't say who next one.
Alright, Booby Looby. Apologies. Now we'll. What are you doing inside here?
You want in wise way, don't already. What? Hula, you want to see again, right?
Neil cool, boy. Neil cool. Come on, man.
Never cool.
Come on. You're killing my date, man.
Look at this, I just shot from brother.
Just leave this.
I'm on.
But what trouble is this, boy? Now where will we, Booby Loobies? What do you think about having a brief entanglement?
Yeah, very more ice.
I tell you, Neil cool, boy. Neil cool. Just come out of my place for my
Oh, man, yeah, if I'm not afraid, I'm also
man. You don't overdo it, man. You don't overdo it. You're just inappropriate, man. Oh, shucks. I'm cranking my style, man. Rock back.
If you're looking for the coolest of the cool, just call Neil Cool. Guaranteed to have the best prices and after service care. And if you're looking to save big on your electric bill, ask about the ATL units, 7 years on compressor and 2 years on parts. So call them today, message on Facebook or Instagram and get cool. Stay cool with Neil Cool.
I think I just watched an entire movie with that Neil Cool air condition advertisement, and I have to say it was highly entertaining. Good evening and welcome to another episode, actually episode 11 of CUTT Live. It is great to be back. If you are joining me for the first time, my name is Felicia Holder. I am one of two hosts for the Thursday show that we air on a Thursday at 8 p.m. Joining me is a man who I have not co-hosted with in a little while. So I'm very excited to welcome him back onto the program. I know he was taking some time to deal with some stories and matters that were pressing for the Citizens Union. So now he's here tonight actually to bring on and discuss some of the matters that we are handling under the legal team of the Citizens Union of Trinidad. So I welcome to the show none other than Mr. Ian Griffith, who heads the department that we're just about to get knee-deep into. Welcome and good evening, Ian.
Thank you, Felicia. For those of you that just joined us, that is Felicia Holder, Citizens Union chairman. Yeah, it was some exciting weeks that went by. Maybe we'll do a movie one day. What could have gone wrong, did go wrong, what it's just too much. Um, I think it's a vivid memory that we still have. Okay. Uh, Before I bring on tonight's guest, I want to go back to our what I would call our pilot episode. That took place on May 12th. And I was at pains during maybe the first three episodes, the pilot and the two subsequent episodes, to indicate what Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago isn't, notably a labor union. However, a series of things have happened subsequently, and I think I need to give context, which will explain tonight's show, Industrial Relations Epilogue. The first show primarily dealt with an industrial relations matter in the name of Robert Fernandez, who had a court order which was defied by his employer. We got involved with that and we brought it to a resolution. I think the final payment will be made to him in October of this year, after he approached the labor union to get a resolution. On July 27th, we had another show in which it involved Dwayne McDowell, another employee who had an issue, again, an employee-related issue with his employer, in which we intervened and he had a financial settlement in that regard, and he's gone on to do something on his own independently. Between that, we had a show on June 9th entitled Abandoned and Abused. It was made reference to a person, estate constable, who works at the port of Port of Spain. And while that show did not have a labor issue, it was an issue about victimization at the port. And as of Wednesday of this week, it has become a labor-related issue because the person in the name of Abigail has received a letter from the port indicating they will be taking disciplinary action against her for her absence from work, which are all medically approved. We also had another person from the port, another type of victimization issue, Sherwin, forgot his surname, Edwards. That show was entitled More Rock Than Roll. And given the path that Abigail Davis' situation has evolved into, which we speculated in that show on June 9th, Mr. Edwards is going to end up in the same predicament like Abigail, and it's going to become a labor-related issue. So having spent 3 shows at the beginning of the show stating what we are not, is either I was being dishonest with you, or more politically correct, I misspoke, because it seems we are doing labor-related issues. The evidence is there when I look back at the epilogue, the first show, and right up to July 27th. And most likely, looking also at the recent letter Abigail received on Wednesday of this week, which was short, of imminent action taken against her for absent from work, medically authorized. So I did allude to her then in that show. We will, as they say in the local parlance, have her back. That was a statement I made. It wasn't in jest, but it has come to fruition. So, given that background, Citizens Union has seemed to have found itself dealing with a lot of labor-related issues, notwithstanding my attempt to distance Citizens Union from labor-related issues. The proof is in the pudding. So for those of you that I have misled in the first 3 programs, mea culpa, as they say in Latin. Right. So you could appreciate tonight's title, Episode 11, Industrial Relations, the Epilogue. In this regard, I would like to bring on Mr. Steve Smart, who who is going to take us a little back in time, not too far back. We could have gone to World War One, but we'll stick around just until after World War II. Believe it or not, coincidentally, this show said to happen. We will speak at the period called 1962/1965, because you all know what is happening, and it's a big celebration coming up, giving our anniversary. But don't take all the champagne yet to celebrate. So, Mr. Smart, welcome.
Thank you, Ian.
Okay.
Thank you for... Go ahead, Ian.
All right. I guess you want me to lead you over the corral. Okay, no problem. So we have had a few conversations, Mr. Smart, and what you heard my opening in terms of what we alluded not to be and what we seem to be doing a lot of. Hence the reason I have invited you onto this show, and the title is appropriate, Epilogue. Legacy media has been wanting and not describing certain pronouncements in the public space, most notably with the CPO and the CPO's role. But that is just we're going to deal with that in about maybe 20 minutes. But before we get to that, could you just give our audience a little brief history of the origin of the industrial relations?
All right. And good night to your co-host.
Good night.
Good night to you, Mom. Ian, we're living in some troubling times, right? And for us to know how we could deal with the issues that are coming along, we need to understand what took place prior to now. So we have to go back a bit to 1962, 1963, 65. Coming out of slavery, we have had freed workers who were agitating for better salaries. Let's put it that way. Salaries, terms and conditions, that was in 1950 something, coming up to 1960. In 1962, 63, 64, we had oil, sugar, pork, but labor organizations causing real problems in the country. Meaning that they used to do negotiations, but there was nothing to compel either party to keep their end of the bargain. Right? So in 1965, at the end of a tumultuous period where the country was shutting down every 3 months, because for every issue that comes up, the unions will go on strike. If something is wrong and there's a breach of the agreement, they go on strike. There was no way of resolving issues, labor, before 1965. So the government at the time, which was led by Eric Williams, would have had limited public emergencies in these areas of conflict. And so therefore, they had the public emergencies, and in March of 1965, the government would have brought into being a law, which is the Industrial Stabilization Act, which we call ISA for short, right? So the ISA was developed with a court involved, which is the Industrial Court. That brought along the Industrial Court. It brought along the method by which resolutions are supposed to be resolved. In other words, the ISA curtailed all these strikes and demonstrations that took place. Alright? So in 1965, the ISA came about. But the ISA didn't have enough faith in terms of resolving certain issues. For instance, when someone was terminated, which is what the employer used to use a long time, under the common law, they send you home and there was no redress. The government of the day would have said the law was deficient in certain points, and they then would have had it, certain parts of it appealed, and they would have put in certain parts. In 1972, the Industrial Relations Act replaced the Industrial Stabilization Act. This is what we have today. So this is what is used to settle disputes or to bring about negotiations and agreements. So we have a period now by which the country is struggling with who the CPO, and I will get to who the CPO in a bit, who the CPO was speaking to when, for instance, when the CPO said he's offering 2% or 4%. The Industrial Relations Act is quite clear as to who the CPO was speaking to at the time. So we could go back a bit to say the Industrial Relations Act. So who is a worker and who is not a worker, right? The CPO, which is the Chief Personnel Officer, is the employer of all public servants or public workers, if you want to call it that. People who are hired, a public servant is somebody who has been hired by the Service Commission, for instance, or a statutory body, for instance. Who the CPO would be doing negotiations with the relevant unions for that particular section. My field is basically security industry. So we have two sections that treat with it. We have the Supplemental Police Act, which is joined to the Industrial Relations Act. Right? Now, the CPO is either male or female, whoever it is in that office at the time, takes instructions from the government. When the CPO makes an offer to public servants, they're not making the offer. He's not making the offer to everybody else, to everybody, the whole union, right? So we have a situation where recently the CPO made an offer of 2%, and we found all the unions in the country. We don't want 2%, but the CPO wasn't really speaking to all the unions, right? At some point, the unions are the ones who CPO, which would be the PSA, mainly police, fire, prisons. Well, the army has their own defense commission board that deals with terms and conditions. What we're trying to get at is the act that we have now that governs industrial relations in the country is the Industrial Relations Act. That act has the industrial court set out in it. The industrial court has two sections. It has the Civil and the General Services Division. That court deals with all disputes work related. The industrial court sets out who could go to the ministry and who could go with, not the industrial court. The Industrial Relations Act sets out who could go to the ministry and who could go to the industrial court. So no individual could take a matter to the industrial court. Now, we have unions who have been in existence, like for instance the OWTU, they have been in existence since 19 long before 1906.
Okay, may I interject here, Steve? Could you
Sure.
elaborate on the role of the OWTU and the melee when they try to represent the sugar workers? Because that goes to part of the catalyst of moving from the Industrial Stabilization Act to the Industrial Relations Act. Are you there, Steve? But anytime the topics gets a little testy, they throttle us.
Right, looks like your guest is having a little
All right.
internet problems. Let's see if Daryl can get him back up on the system. But Ian, would you like to elaborate a little bit in his absence until he comes back?
Yeah, a couple of the things that the show is basically attempting to do tonight is to inform and to educate some of the things we take for granted that is put in the public space as relates to the chief personal officer in one instance, and on whose behalf they make offerings to. So I won't go too much into it in case Steve comes back on. There are some examples we have which could clearly and once and for all, leave in the public's mind and the listeners to whom, when the CPO speaks, to whom the CPO is speaking. The press is at fault for not clarifying that. Since we are dealing with issues related to the most recent, well, TSTT is something that is a 2018 and a 2022 ongoing situation. Petrotrin has been, so to speak, wrapped up, and WASA is next. But the show is going to really stay within on the reservation with regard to estate police constables, because there's a specific example in that regard that is going to clearly elucidate who is a worker, who isn't a worker, and who can represent whom. So those are the type of questions that I had intended to present to Mr. Smart for him to clarify it for you all. So hopefully that technical issue that is taking place in the background is going to be resolved so he can amplify on what I just said. Don't really want to do the show on my own without his collaborative contribution. So I may have to just go into the toolkit and just whip up some stuff. Right. So
well,
okay, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask because this is my first show that I am flying blind, as we agreed on. I would come in and basically feel out you and your guests and ask questions along that line. So I was appreciating the history of the Industrial Relations Act and court and what led the riots that led us to a place of having to design a means and mechanism by which workers can seek redress for issues rather than melting iron and burning wood in the middle of the road, as has become a habit and still seems to be the popular solution when you can't have your issues heard. And they say riot is the language of the unheard. So taking us through that history and to where we are now, would you say that this is more of a guidance for our members who may be seeking to come to us for certain industrial related issues, or is it just more of educating and empowering the public on what happens when, and who do you go to?
Right. To that question, I answer affirmative in both instances. To our existing members, yes, and for the general population / worker, it's instructive that they have some information that wherever they are working, I don't want to call any company's name because it may sound pejorative, and they may not be unionized. This information is very important so that they would know how to resolve issues at the company if and when, and they do come up, what let's say we will call in the first instance a dispute, and the language escalates to a grievance. So I didn't want to go too deep into. Steve, are you back?
Yes, I am.
Okay, right. So
Welcome back.
Right, welcome back, and Daryl, please record the show. All right. So I was making reference on the comment you're making in terms of the date of birth of the OWTU, and I wanted you to,
Right.
for historical purposes, navigating between the Industrial Stabilization Act and the Industrial Relations Act. Now, I do not know how many people, those in the relative areas of industrial relations, knew of the Industrial Stabilization Act of 1965. I believe it's March 12th. So we're just reiterating that history. But there was a fracas, since we are talking about labor issues, between the OWTU and the union at the time that represented the sugarcane workers. If you can just tell the audience a little bit about that.
The RSA was passed during a period of public emergency that resulted from labor disorder in the sugar belt. So they have a lot of public emergencies in the sugar belt, right? Workers employed by the sugar companies were walking off the job, right? They caused a complete shutdown of the sugar industry. Sorry. It is alleged that the OWTU were making efforts to recognition for the sugar workers to come under the OWTU as a bargaining agent for the sugar workers. And the government of the day, sensing there was a split between labor, that is when they decided to bring the ISA into being, right? So the ISA was brought into being, and it was brought into being specifically to prevent the same squabbling that was taking place, and also to help resolve the issues, especially the issue between sugar and oil, or OWTU and the Sugarcane Workers Union Association, if you want to call it that. And so therefore the ISA came about mainly because of that little tussle that was happening there in March of 1965.
Was there a limited state of emergency at that time?
Yeah, they used to call it public emergencies at the time.
So one was in effect?
Yes, at the time.
In response to the fracas?
This fracas between the oil field workers trade union and the sugar workers.
And geographically, where was this state of emergency, quote unquote, applied to geographically?
It was applied to the areas, the sugar areas especially, because the sugar areas at that point in time is where all the workers were walking off the job. They were shutting down. There was a company there.
So geographically, could I say south? So geographically, could I say south only? Did I say south
Central.
only geographically?
Central, south, central, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Mainly central.
And the major sugar producer employed at the time will be Tate and Lyle.
Tate and Lyle. And things were getting really, really economically bad. And it's around that period where I was part of the plan. Thank you.
So, Felicia, you actually spoke to the information that was provided tonight, I will succinctly just capture the salient points. The reason this show is called the epilogue, because I knew it could not have adequately covered all of the things that are applicable and beneficial to citizen union members in the employment environment. And that is why it was called the epilogue. It's built into the name. I can say with certainty there is going to be a part 1, 2, and possibly 3 coming out of this, which will be more curtailed and specific. This was to give the viewing and listening audience and persons who are employees, wherever they work, an appreciation as to the environment in which they work and the redress, if any, and how to get it. And most employees, including estate constables, that are members of the Estate Police Association, and let's use the port for example, would have joined the port would have taken the requisite time to get them precepted, and now you're precepted at the port. But nobody goes on to tell the individual precepted security personnel at the port what are their rights and benefits. And the 2 cases that CUTT has at the moment is an example of that, one more so than the other, that they have to rapidly discover how to navigate disciplinary action by the port while they are members of the EPA. And that was part of the reason for having this show, to sort of give a history and an epilogue, and there will be other things going forward. It's going to tie into what is coming down the pipeline. WASA is next, and it's going to be a trending topic. And I presume, I don't know, I don't have a crystal ball, but on the balance of probabilities, TSTT. And all of those persons that we are referring to that have bargaining units to represent them, notwithstanding, if they are not aware as to their rights, and they're solely reliant on the bargaining unit to represent them, and if they're not adequately represented by the bargaining unit, what happens with Petrotrin is what is going to happen. No amount of margin is going to prevent it. Nothing is going to stop that ball from rolling down the hill. And I think this program here tonight is just trying to find a space to speak to those concerns that employees have at the moment, and that will be TSTT, although the 2022 severance seems to be going smoothly. 2018 is still a problem, and WASA right now is in the throes. So, thank you for the little brief history on the Stabilization Act, the Industrial Relations Act, who is a worker, who isn't a worker, and when the CPO speaks, whether it's male or female, they are not speaking to all workers.
Employees.
Correct. So that is very important. Now, just a little bit of politics, as you can't escape it. If the offer of 4% is accepted, is it the tactical position of the government when the CPO makes an offer, and all the back and forth, 4% is accepted, that private sector then begins to offer 4% when they probably could have paid 6% by referring to the CPO's offer? So Massey, for example, could offer 4%. So everybody who has individual wage agreements they would like to implement is holding off. They're not even unionized, they're just holding off. Whatever the CPO says, while our coffers are rolling over with cash, we offer 4%. Is that a possibility?
I will answer it this way. The state always wants to control the financial narrative in the country. Always.
Okay.
The state always puts out their offer in such a way to make it look like they are targeting the whole country. And so
Okay.
therefore, historically, a lot of employers wait on the CPO to bring out an offer.
Okay.
But
Right.
one thing, Ian, one thing. Marcy settled a negotiation recently for 12%, you know.
And that is why I said, Marcy, I knew you were going to say that. I wanted you to prompt it, but I didn't want to say like I'm a custodian of their
Marcy
collective agreements
offer,
and limits. Right, I
I
knew
think
that.
I think the union is Big Woo, one of those unions. They actually got 12% from Marcy. 4
Well, I
by
think
4
that's
by
a good,
4.
right. Okay. So I think that's a good point to end tonight's show. The historical aspect, the negotiation aspect, how government uses the offer of the CPO, how other private sector enterprises also could use it to advance their wage settlements with their individual workers, unionized or not, saying, listen, the CPO, the government offered 4%. We are struggling. We came through COVID just like the government. We are offering you 4%.
Exactly.
There is an
Exactly.
example. I said Massey specifically as opposed to someone else. Their employees were able to get 12% in the same environment that I could use to articulate why things are difficult post-COVID, shutdowns, revenue depletion. I think the public understands not only the specificity of the CPO's offer, the narrative that is sent out, and how government actually sort of directs by an invisible hand, a sort of Adam Smith economic
Yes.
hand
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
to direct wages. And once you suppress wages, well, that's another show. Because once you begin to suppress
Yeah.
wages, it has a knock-on effect: crime, inflation, survivability, the ability to purchase a home, and etc. But I think there is
Right.
another. That's another conversation. So it's just good to end that
Plenty.
people can relate to this program and understand that while they may not be in a union and while they may not be a precepted officer, there is a very high operative, orchestrated movement to always suppress wages. And the government sets the tone, and employers follow suit. The aberration here is Massey for whatever reason. That's good for those who work at Massey, but it may not happen at Nestle. And workers in their individual capacity might say, okay, I am not in a union. I'm in a private sector. I don't want prices in the sale of alcohol and importing of alcohol. I'm safe. I'm good. Liquor is a good business. You might get 4% because they said at the board, offer them what the CPO offered us. And you say, okay, no problem. 4% seems to be what the company could withstand. I'm glad to have a job. I was unemployed. I was furloughed. I'll take 4%. And then the dividends are paid out by the board now to their stake and shareholders, and the employees once again are caught in an economic trap. And the cycle perpetuates itself. I just wanted to add that to create a behind the scenes look as to what you see in front of you. Thank you very much for coming on. I think it was very instructive. There's a lot there to unravel. We will do that in subsequent segments. The industrial relations climate in this country is going to heat up. So I think this program could bring more light as things become known in the public space. So Citizens Union is going to be approached, I'm certain, after this program for clarity and guidance by employees, whether they're with a union, registered labor union or not, as they have been in the examples I referred to from Mr. Fernandez to Dwayne McDowell, and even those that when we didn't interact with them on our shows as a labor issue, they are turning out to be labor issues. So with that, I want to thank you for coming on. We will continue to chat and we will get to part one at some point. Felicia, you could, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. And Felicia, you can put a bow on it now.
Ian. Thank you, and thank you to your guest. Thank you for giving us such an enlightening insight into industrial relations. And I know definitely Ian would be using that in his work going forward. So looking forward to hearing you and seeing you on the subsequent episodes.
Okay. Thanks and good night to everyone. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Have a good night,
Bye.
all.
Okay.
All right, and it's just me again. Back to just one person on the screen, and we now segue into the business affiliate segment. So the first portion of the show, we usually deal with human interest story matters that we are resolving as Citizens Union. Tonight we had a special episode where we brought on what would seem as an industrial relations expert to give us some insight into the way things work, who you go to, how matters are resolved for workers and the different levels of workers. Because tonight we found out not everybody is considered just a worker. Telling you how you can go about getting your matters and seeking redress as it pertains to employment related matters. But like I said, we're segueing into the business affiliate segment. And this portion of the show, which I enjoy a lot, we get to mention some of our newest business affiliates. We get to do some special shout outs, as well as we get to bring some of our present business affiliates onto the program. And tonight we do have two guests. One of them is in the waiting room right now. This person, it's Katie Subrati, and she's coming to talk about he is coming to talk about multi-leader designs. Good evening, Katie.
Good afternoon. You hear me clearly?
I am hearing you clearly.
Okay. Hi, Felicia. Good night, and good night to all viewers. Right. My name is Kate Sabrati.
You see, and I pronounce your name wrong. It's Kate Sabrati. And I need to tell Sahai when she's giving me these names of people that she gives me the pronunciations too, so I don't embarrass myself and my guests. It's a pleasure to meet you, Kate.
That's okay. That's okay. Yes. Okay. So I operate the business called Multimedia Designs. Right. We are a small company. We mainly do house plans, right? Building plans for commercial and residential, right? Structural designs for those who have foundations, right? And they need design drawings to submit for town and country, right? I deal with full approvals also, right? And job costing and estimates, right? We do that also, right? Also, I also do other card designs, right? Mainly for pipeline layouts and liquid diesel storage, right? So that would be tied into anyone who is applying for storage approval from Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries for those LPG pipeline drawings for restaurants, right?
Yeah.
And manufacturing. And also I do mechanical drawings for anything concerning machinery and the units, any kind of designs in terms for mechanical and electrical components. Yeah. And well, through the citizen unions, I have a package. I offer 15 to 20% discount for all members, right? So it would be best to take advantage of that because plans aren't cheap these days.
Pretty much. So this is a 15 to 20% discount off of all plans that you're doing.
Yes. Well, for all members, everything would be on a discounted price for them.
Okay. Nice. Well, tell me a little bit more about your business. Like you said, it's a small business. It's run by, is it just you or you have a couple other people working with you?
Yes. I work with some engineers. Some are registered, some are graduated engineers, right? So we, depending on the structure or the project that we work on, I would need certain personnel. Also, I also source the surveyors, right, concerning when you have to get your land surveyed, right? So there's a lot of businesses that pass through these services also, you know. So mainly my team is, well, myself, an engineer, right? And there's an administrative person that follows up with approvals, right? Approvals for whatever application for any government service, providing that we need to apply for them for whatever project, small project, big project. Well, not big, but medium size, you know.
Yeah.
hmm
Okay. And how long have you been doing this?
Uh, since 2020, July of 2020, there was a small demand I have seen personally for a lot of companies that need designs not on a full time basis, right, but on a short term basis. So they would encounter small projects that they would need drawings for, but they won't be able to hire, a card person to do designs for them on a full time. So this is where my services come in. Also, well, I do private jobs for residential and commercial. So people could check me out. You could check me out on Google. You could Google the company name. You would get the information, or you could check on Facebook. Right? You could find more of my work there that you could be updated on.
All right. So this is multi-leader designs, right?
It's multi-leader designs. Yeah.
All right. And how can they contact you? Where you based?
Well, I'm based in Princestown, right, south, right. But mainly the jobs requires me to do site visits, so I do site visits throughout Trinidad and inclusion Tobago, right. So I deal with a lot of. I could cover anywhere in Trinidad that needs to be, wherever the site is that needs to be assessed.
All right. And if they were to contact you, they had to call.
Okay, my contact is 788-4719. Right, you can WhatsApp me. You could call. Right, it would be nice to mention that if you're calling from as a member of the Citizen Union, so I'll know right away. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So you can know that you have to apply the discount one time.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Kate. So anything else you would like to say about your business or about what you're offering before we wrap up?
Basically, I know a lot of people they have a lot of questions for the approval process for buildings, right? I get there's no instance I advise everyone accordingly to the regulations and everything. So usually I don't encounter issues with getting plans approved, right? I never had, even if we do the changes accordingly towards the building inspectors and the people who reviewing the plans. So really, yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, Kate, I have to say it was a pleasure having you on the program. The past few weeks we've been having what seems like a lot of from foundation to finish business affiliates on, and I see we have somebody who's doing the design plans. This is the first business affiliate of this sort that we have brought onto the program. So for anybody who is in the home improvement or home construction business or looking to get into buying their new home or building their first home, that they can reach out to Multi-Leader Designs. Kate is what is your position? You're the owner, managing director.
Yes, I am the managing director, also the draftsman. Yeah,
the
so
managing director.
I deal directly with all the designs for whatever project the client decides to take on.
Lovely. So if our members are reaching out, they would be reaching out to you directly. Yes.
Directly, yes.
Lovely. Well, thank you again for being on the program. I will mention your name again. Kate, I'm just making sure your page on the website is up to date. You've sent in information to make sure we have a nice um, display of your business on the new discount website?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure everybody's being promoted to the best that we can promote them. And if you can send in a link to your website page, to your Facebook page, if you can send us your Google pin, if you can send us a picture, an image that you would like at the front of your landing page for your business on your website, do that because we want to make it as visible to our customers as possible. They should be able to pull up your business and click a Google pin to get straight to you or contact you directly.
No problem. No problem. Will
Yeah.
do.
But if you
Yeah.
haven't checked it out yet, you should go check it out. It's CUTT Discounts, CUTT Discounts.com.
Okay. No problem.
It's a brand new
Will do.
website, and make sure you like your page and everything is good with it, right?
No problem. Thanks, Felicia.
All right. Thank you. Take care and have a great evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Okay, we were supposed to have one other business affiliate. I believe he has cancelled, which is no problem. We're going to push him for next week because I do want to mention two of our brand new business affiliates who would have joined within this week. And one of them I know very well because one of them is actually a good friend of mine. And so funny, I was not the person who signed her up. Actually, one of our new business affiliate agents who has been just working or around the clock to sign up new business affiliates. I mean, this girl is just amazing. She actually happened to find this business, which is Over the Moon Spa and Beauty. The owner, Claudia, she runs the spa, and she's offering to Citizens Union members 10% off manicures, pedicures, and massages. And I think that is ideal because in these stressful times, everybody needs to de-stress a little bit and save some money while you're doing that. So for all our ladies and guys, because not only ladies should get manicures and pedicures, guys, like, do your toes and your nails too. You should look cute as well. If you're looking to spend some money on yourself, you can visit Over the Moon Spa and Beauty. They're located on 14 to 17 Park Street, Port of Spain, across from Victoria Square. And for those who may be familiar and think that location sounds familiar, it's because they are located on the same compound with Victoria Foods Grab and Go, which is where I am filming this episode right now. So if you'd like to visit Over the Moon Spa and visit Victoria Foods Grab and Go, which is a Citizens Union business affiliate member, yes, all CUTT members get 5% off their entire bill. It doesn't matter what you buy. I'm telling you that discount is even better than my staff discount because I only get 5% off food. You're getting 5% off your entire bill. So CUTT members, you can shop here. And while you're getting lunch, go and do your nails and your toes next door by the Over the Moon Spa and the Beauty Center. Get a massage, de-stress, and forget all the worries that comes with living in Trinidad and Tobago. Another business affiliate who joined us, it's Judy's Catering and Judy's Cucula. Interesting. Judy's Catering and Judy's Cucula is offering buy a bottle of tamarind sauce and get a small bottle of pepper sauce for free. Buy a bottle of Cucula and get a small pepper sauce for free as well. All available at Victoria Foods Grab and Go. Oh, that is ingenious. I realize what y'all are doing. Y'all are really building out this network, and I love it. I love the fact that Judy's Catering and Judy's Cucula is selling in Grab and Go and is offering discounts to members. Buy one tamarind sauce, get a pepper sauce free. Buy Cucula and get a pepper sauce free. These are available at Victoria Foods Grab and Go. So before I leave, I need to go and locate that Cucula and tamarind sauce. Judy is located at 11 Cascade Road, but if you would like to get onto her, aside from coming into Grab and Go to purchase the store, you can the products, you can call 687-1889. So that number 687-1889 if you would like to purchase your pepper sauce. I have a lot of people who come to us when they travel, the PEP and the CUTT officers, And they're always asking for pepper sauce and things that they could take back. Tamarind sauce is something that people like, but it's not that easily obtainable. But now you can obtain it at Victoria Foods Grab and Go from Judy's Catering, and you're getting a free pepper sauce with it. So yay! All right, and beauty. The contact is Claudia 396-4492. Like I said, they're located on the same compound with Victoria Foods Grab and Go, which is on Park Street, Port of Spain. So if you're visiting one, you could visit the other 2 in 1, and well, 3 in 1, because you could also pick up your tamarind sauce and your cuchilla and your pepper sauce from Judy's Catering and Judy's Cuchilla. I do want to mention another business affiliate who was so excited to sign up with us that he ended up signing up twice, as in he signed up about 4 months ago. And somebody got him to sign up again today. Of course, he would be refunded. I think that was a little glitch in the matrix. But I want to give him a shout out because this is actually somebody that we in CUTT and Victoria Foods Grab and Go order from. This is Stationery United, and Richard Houston, the owner of Stationery United, which is located in Barataria. They sell office supplies. They're also offering to CUTT members 15% off office furniture. I wasn't even aware that they sold office furniture, so that's great. 15% off stationery, that's what we buy, office paper, printing copies, and 15% off business cards. So if you would like to get office furniture, office stationery, and business cards, Stationery United, which is located in Barataria, number 59 6th Street, Barataria. They're offering 15% off. Guys, back to school is coming. Trust me, this is a good deal. This is a good deal. 15% off stationery. Give them a call. 21098. Stationery United Limited. They are located in Barataria. The owner is Richard Hussein. He is a CUTT business affiliate member. He's offering 15% off furniture, office furniture, stationery, and business cards. All of you business owners who need to reorder your business card, all of you parents who are shopping for your kids and you want good deals and discounts off of stationery, if you are looking to purchase office furniture for your at-home, work-from-home desk or space, contact Stationery United and benefit as a CUTT member by getting 15% off. For all of those who are new with us and not aware of how you can access these and other discounts from our business affiliate members, we recently relaunched them. I'm not going to discount it at all, but for the cost of what you're paying at the Citizens Union, somebody asked me, what am I paying for? $600 and then $500 every year. For some members, those who would have signed up with us in the first year paid $350 and will only pay $275 to renew for the entire year. What you get, I think it completely surpasses what you would have paid for these services. You're getting discounts at countless businesses. I mean, this one alone from Stationery United, 15% off stationery. I know many parents could benefit from, those savings, especially if you have 2, 3, and more kids. The going to just taking care of yourself and de-stressing your mind and your body. The fact that we can offer that discount to members, to people to take care of themselves, I think that is exceptional as well. So the things that we spend money on, like fetting and partying, that will give us temporary and instant gratification and eventually wears off until we go to the next party and drink the next bottle of rum. Things like that, they're fun and all, but it's good to have the backing of the Citizens Union. It's good to have the backing of an organization that was truly created for the people, by the people. Our slogan, our logo says stronger together. I'm hearing I was listening to an ad this morning use the words stronger together, and I laugh because I know that's something that we would have come out with. And we said those 2 words for a reason, because we do believe in the term. We do believe that together we are stronger. Growing this network and watching this network, this business affiliate network, grow as big as it's getting, knowing that we are offering our small businesses, our medium-sized businesses, offering businesses that opportunity to advertise in these times where people have to be very conscious about every penny that they spend. That is something that I'm happy that we're able to provide. I want to see this grow even bigger. My goal, like I keep saying, is 1,000 business affiliate members by the end of the year. We're getting there, and the more of you who are willing to sign up, the more we can build a network of people who are saving and shopping together. So if you would like to join, like I said, the number is 3748747 to individual membership. So as a BA member, you do get to benefit from discounts as well. I wanted to tell Mr. Cade that we have somebody who does landscaping and pools and we also have somebody who does the material for the landscapes and the landscaping and the pools. So imagine that foundation to finish network that you've built right within the Citizens Union. You can be saving money in countless ways. We had someone who was coming on from Klein's Auto Repair. Unfortunately, he could not make it tonight, but I'm sure I'm going to get Clyde on for next week, where we'll hear about his deals and discounts on top of the new business affiliates that we would have signed up in that time. So speaking a lot, but I enjoy this tremendously. I enjoy seeing something that began as a mustard seed grow so big. I am very appreciative of all of the faith and support that we have received from our members and our business affiliate partners. I'm glad that we are able to offer these deals and discounts, and I thank you for being willing to join our network. It's only going to grow bigger from here. Please, if you're interested in joining us, don't hesitate. It's the best $600 as an individual member you can spend, and it's the best $1,000 that you could ever invest in your business. The strength of a union and the backing of a consumer club behind it. Thank you, guys. See all of you next week. Bye.